Is it possible to make millions with photography? This week's guest is Carmel Jane, and she did just that. She's going to tell us her story, how she built her business, how she sold her business, and what is next for this entrepreneur superstar. You're going to learn a lot from this episode, so stay tuned. Carmel, thank you very much for coming in. You came from New Zealand at what age? We're going to just do the backstory, guys, to find out how Carmel came to here. Why stay here? New Zealand looks like a lovely place.
Because it was 1996. London was the coolest place in the world. Britpop. I got here just before Euro 96, and I was in London singing songs, football's coming home, and you could get a 4-year work visa. There was £4. $4 to every pound. When you earned pounds, it was amazing to go travelling. So it's what we all did. We had to get away. New Zealand's a long way away, and I don't know you appreciate being in somewhere like England where everything's there. And
it was the cool city, yeah. And what was the first jobs? How did you earn your first money?
I've got a degree in hotel management, so I got a job in hotels. Turned out that wasn't much fun, so I copied my friend's CV, bought a beautiful skirt with a suit with a very short skirt, and got a job on the trading floor of Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, which at the time was the largest trading bank in the world. It just merged, and I walked out onto the trading floor, and it was huge, and it was just it was like something out of a movie. And I managed to work there on and off for 2 years, earning quite decent money and travelling in between. Right.
And what was the move from then?
Then I got a job as a makeup artist at one of those makeover studios, which were very popular in the 90s. And as a salesperson, that was a little bit unethical. So I did makeup. Then I met and married a photographer.
Right, okay. And how did that go?
Well, it taught me photography, taught me also that I'm not that good at choosing husbands.
So we'll skip through that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it gave me, taught me all about photography. We had a wedding photography business together, and, it was digital just come in. I learned photography. I was pretty good at the business side of things. Mum and Dad are being really entrepreneurial. I got 2 beautiful boys who are 22 now, identical twins, and I left the family home when they were 4. And
Carmel, go back to Mum and Dad. What did Mum and Dad do?
Real kind of small-time entrepreneurs. They were a bus driver and a nurse, and then were on the farm for 10 years when I was a kid. Then they had a little cafe, and then they did something else. And then they had a nursing home. So then they earned kind of decent money from a nursing home, Mum having been a nurse.
We'll come back. We'll put a pin in that because we'll come back to that. Okay. That's going to go full circle, we know. So now you're now living on your own with the children?
Yeah, so I left the family home, living on my own with the kids.
And you're still doing the photography?
I'd taken a little bit of time off because I had wanted to go back to New Zealand, but in the end, the courts decided it's probably best they saw their dad, which, you know what, in the end it probably was actually. Right. And so I started a wedding photography business, kind of changed up. I was digital only, had my whole business plan, so under the VAT threshold, 95% gross margins. It was like great. And then that was all going swimmingly well. And then I got really ill with breast cancer. And it turns out I didn't have a business, did I? I just had a job.
Right, okay.
And that's the whole difference, is because it was a big learning curve. You don't have a business till someone else is... Yeah. You've got people in your team, and if you do get ill, the business keeps going.
So what happened, Carmel? Did you then have to step back a bit if you were sick?
No, I photographed 8 weddings over my last 2 chemos in a period of 4 weeks.
Did you really?
It was shit.
Because you had to, or because you just wanted to with grit and determination? What was
because I was sort of $2.5 grand for a wedding, right. And I had 8 booked, and I only did about 25 a year, so it was a big part of my income, and I didn't have anyone else that could do them. Maybe because I didn't have network and things. It was slightly pre-social media, so you didn't have quite such good networks, and so I did them. And the day after my last chemo, I got out of bed, put my wig on because I was completely bald by then, and it was a really long day with driving, and I did a 12-hour day, lumping cameras around. So it just goes to show you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, no, you can. And I know you fairly well, and you're a very gutsy lady, and you do get on with stuff. When I talk on the pod about talkers and doers, Carmel Jane is a doer, absolutely 100%. And I want to try and get that across in this interview, that I want you to find out, Carmel, what the what makes you the person you are? You've talked about those trials and tribulations with relationships and illness. Is that the grain of sand in the oyster that makes you into a pearl of action? Is it that grit and determination? How do you explain it?
I grew up on a farm. We had to work. I played a lot of sport as a youngster, so that teaches you try hard, work hard, go through the pain barrier, you get results. I don't know. Maybe it's just who I am. Yeah. I don't know why.
When I speak to we do lots of mentoring for young companies, and you can spot someone from 100 paces. You can see that they've actually got it. You know, that you say they're going to do it, and you have other people that are second guessing themselves, this, that, and the other. And I think it's almost a state of mind, isn't it? Is how they perceive the problem, or they perceive it as just something to get over, as opposed to something that can't be done. What happened then? So you were then running the business on your own. Did you get better?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I did a lot of work on being healthy and that kind of thing, but I also looked at what I did. I did all these weddings, but I had 2 dance schools, and I went, I didn't have any of the language about scaling up and all that. I went, if I can do this, I can teach other people and I can pay them to take the photos. This was kind of my language. I didn't even know really about business in a lot of ways. And then so I completely rebranded, put myself as a dance school photographer, started turning down weddings, which is really hard because they were like, I can do those. Yeah. And then within a few years, and a lot of risk, and you take on a salesperson, it seemed like an awful, $25,000 a year plus commission, felt like a crazy amount of money, but it had to be done. So I got a little office. I had someone working for me at that stage, just rebranded, went for it. Worked unbelievably hard. 1 year for dance school season, I worked 7 weeks. I worked every single day.
Did you?
1 day off, actually, not every single day. And I remember once.
And how did you do that with the boys?
My first husband wasn't that nice, but he did have the kids quite a lot of the time. Okay. And then you go to a friend's house, that kind of thing. Right. You work late at night. You'd be there for the kids in between school times, and then they'd go to bed, and you'd work late at night.
So there's, I mean, for entrepreneurs that are looking at this, there is huge sacrifices to get results sometimes, isn't there? In your private life and your home life, they talk about a home life balance. Probably not.
I think when you're starting up, I think people underestimate how much work it is and how much sacrifice and you say no to a lot of things. You don't. Sunday afternoons aren't as work time. Yeah. Actually, when I was setting up the dance photography, I went to bed at 8 o'clock every night and got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's actually my body clock, and I'd work from 4 in the morning. But then as the kids got slightly older, it would be nights. But I remember in a ball on my bedroom floor just crying, going, I'm too tired. I don't think I can do this.
Really?
Photography is quite a physical job, especially dance photography. You're lumping gear and you're kind of high energy and everything's quite heavy. And
you're sitting on the floor crying. How do you get from? Are you just getting that out of your system to then go again? No, how do you not go down that rabbit hole just to throw it all away and start?
Because you can't let someone down. Like you can't set someone down for their wedding. You can't let someone down. It's a dance school, big show. These women have worked for 2 years to get the show together, and they need the photos. Yeah. And you need to keep working to, I don't know, and also letting people down. I wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, from that terrible, terrible 7 weeks, which I got through it, I went, something has to change. Again, I was in the right room with the people. I was in the room with the right people. I hadn't kind of got the coaching thing. I hadn't have anyone to learn off. There wasn't the podcasts and the books maybe that we've got now. But I did slowly grow it and start doing less and less.
What year was this, would you say this was?
I think that was 2013, 2014.
Right. Okay. I mean, things have really moved on because I think it's only then I was buying Brian Tracy discs sent to my house, like DVD discs, to listen to audio books and stuff. And things really have moved. You're very good at. I mean, I've worked with you in masterclasses. Mm. We've been members of masterclasses. We're kind of serial working on ourselves. I don't know what one thing to say is, but we see something shiny and we go, there might be a nugget of gold there. Let's go on that course. Yeah. And we kind of do that, don't we? But we do find ourselves in the room, probably the smartest ones in the room sometimes with some of the courses.
Yeah, I think I did a lot of local networking.
Yeah, the local network. I do refer to the local networking ones because some of them, there's value, but there's different levels of value, isn't there?
Yeah, and then you kind of get into the bigger rooms. You know, you never want to be the smartest or the richest person in the room. And I don't know. I mean, I worked, and it wasn't until actually a very good friend, James Sinclair, I started doing some networking stuff with him, some masterminds, and he was coaching me. And he went, "Carmel Jane, this could be a £1 million business." I was like, "Oh, don't be silly," and it could, it totally could.
And it totally did, didn't it?
Yeah, I think
multiple millions.
Yeah,
and I mean, and for for listeners and watchers, that what Carmel had done, the classic thing, had gone into a niche. Because you could have stayed in wedding photography, and there's thousands of them, and you can just pick a camera up. I'm a wedding photographer. Where what you did was something completely different. There was a moat around it in a way because you were hooked into them. They were waiting to be photographed, and you were the person that turned up on time, produced all the stuff back to them. They then resold it. And that's how it works, isn't it?
So changed dance photography industry at the time was all X Factor, so mummies were sending all their kids off to dance school. They weren't having photographers, so I went in and I said, "You need this, I'll give you commission." And we don't want it, they won't buy them. Turns out they did buy them. And now most dance schools, it'd be completely normal to have photography there. We got up to about 350 dance schools around the southeast, and you think, there's dance schools. And then I got asked to do the photography at Newhall School.
Right.
So the school photography, we were doing their dance.
That's where my daughters went to school. That's fine.
Very impressive school.
If anybody would like to lend me a tenner, it's very expensive.
You get your money's worth. They're impressive. I saw behind the curtain, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
But I have to do all the online system and things, and I turned up and so stressed out. Because if you get it wrong, the dance hall up the village road, it's kind of the village hall. That's fine, but a big prestigious, senior school. And they said, "Oh, you haven't got all day, you've only got half a day." I had a team there, and they said, "I was like, we won't be able to do it." And they said, "Don't worry, no one buys these photos anyway."
Wow.
They did buy my photos.
Right.
And again, school photography is tough because if you get a job, someone's lost a job because there's only so many schools. You can't grow the school photography market. You can't make schools change their mind on it. And actually, a lot of senior schools, they'd line them up, white background, bang them through just for their student IDs, and hopefully some parents bought photos. But actually, if you do it with all the beautiful lighting and you pose them properly and use the right lens and good quality equipment and train the staff really well, then people do buy the photos. And very complimentarily, I do the special kind of my look, that sort of slightly bluey grey background. That's sort of the norm now for school photography. And then
how did you elbow your way into it then? Because if you're saying it's a bit of a clothes shop and they're very used to, they're creatures of habit, these schools as well, and it doesn't really make any difference to them who's giving out the work, but it obviously made a big difference to the people that were buying the photos.
Quality of product, quality of service, and we said, look, we're going to sell more photos than your other photographer, and we only gave 10% commission. They were giving 20%, but 10% of lots is a lot more than 20% of not very much. Close to nothing sometimes. One school, I played tennis with the bursar, and the previous school photography company took $3,000. We took 12.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the difference. If you actually take a beautiful photo that mum wants to buy, parents want to buy.
And that's a lot of photos. Newhall is a big school with all those years as well, isn't it?
I think it's 800 in the senior school, and they've grown the primary school. But we've done 2,000 student schools as well.
And universities as well or not?
We did a little bit with graduations. That's more challenging. And actually, again, it's around, you say about niching. A lot of photographers try and do a bit of everything. And I did well, and I said, I'm a dance school photographer. It's one thing, I market for one thing, and then school photography. And again, you've got one clear message, one clear client, customer that you're after, and you do one thing really, really well. But really proud that I broke. I mean, dance school wasn't really there, so I created that. And then school photography has quite a high barrier to entry because you need all the systems and back end, and now that's lowered so more people can come in. But doing it better than other people and offering better service is a way to get into an industry.
And Carmel, when you were doing that, when did you suddenly sort of get that aha moment that this is a success? Was there a time when you looked at the bank balance, or you realised how many schools you had under your sort of in your contract and your stuff? Was there a thing this, I've got this?
When I knew that, I could have walked away from the business for a month and it would be okay. I don't know. Do you ever think that? I do now.
But you to do that, you must have really worked hard on getting middle management in.
Yes, so I did have a team for quite a while. So
Yeah.
you just slowly grow your team. And I was saying to someone today, you sometimes need half a person, and you go, well, if I employ someone, how can I use them for that job I need, and then grow them? But I don't think I ever employed someone, and you end up, when you take that person on, they not create more work, but they allow you to grow the business because they take a chunk away from what I do. I mean, I wish I'd delegated sooner. Yeah. But you learn that.
And it's hard not to fiddle, isn't it? It's hard not to just go in there, meddle with it and try and improve it. They've got to actually own their role or their department and do a bit of failing, haven't they? But that's hard to watch on the sidelines.
Yeah, I would. I had to come in and I wasn't that good at it, actually. No. Just go, no, but you got to, and you just, when you've done something for so long, you feel it in your bones. And empowering people. I got a really good GM, Sue. She was fantastic. And then ops manager Cheryl. So I had people I could really, really trust. Yeah. And that's, I think, actually when I had those people in position. But for too long, I stayed trying to meddle. I stayed kind of being the MD or the GM, when really I need to put people in place and trust them, and then hold them accountable, but walk away and let them get on with their jobs. And
how did you start with your... I know I was probably in my late middle 30s to late 30s before I really started working on myself. And where did you go for those type of seminars and stuff like that? Was it you said it was obviously local, and then did you find other communities to work with?
Yeah, so James Sinclair had a big I can't remember what it's called now, sorry. A networking thing. We did big groups, and then there was a smaller mastermind, and I did that. And then having James coaching. So that's when did you work
with Mark Creaser as well?
Yes,
I think you did back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've known Mark for a long time, And I mean, someone like him, marketing, and just really good with business, and they see your business from a different idea, and they help teach you that you've got to delegate, and you have to empower people and empower your team. And there's something really incredible in that, because people want to feel valued. They want to feel good at what they do. And if you keep poking and prodding, and you're undermining them.
Because they're good, aren't they? Because Mark is very good. He kind of just comes up with very simplistic nuggets of stuff to do. When I've watched him work and been around in his company, he takes a bit of consideration, and then he doesn't speak that much. But when he does, you need to listen. Don't you? That's how I take it.
Out of his book, but
and I've said this many times on Instagram and stuff. It's a bloody lonely road, isn't it? Who the hell do you talk to? I mean, we have the dinner. The dinner is on tonight here at Baddow Park House.
And we did the mastermind with Will again. And the dinner's amazing because it's entrepreneurs, and you can sit, you can have a good old moan about stuff, or share ideas, or you can shout about your wins, actually, in a way that's really...
Not showy offy. People need to know, don't they? You and I end up in the dinner running around grabbing people off of other seats and saying, you need to sit next to this person. Move over and put them together. Because the sectors, they need, there's a marriage value in their sectors, what they're doing.
Doing it on your own is tough.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, doing it with a business partner has its own difficulties. But I think it's the constant decision making and accepting and sitting back and taking risk. I mean, you've taken way bigger risks than I have, I think, in your life. But getting in the right room with the right people is the most important thing I ever did.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. Team, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know about Baddow Park Mastermind. I have created a mastermind for high-level entrepreneurs. There's only 16 spaces and we've only got a few left. If you often find you're the biggest fish in the pond at other masterminds, click the link in the pod description because this might be just for you. Now, back to the pod. What happened? Where did you get your headspace to say, I'm going to get this thing for sale? Because this was some time ago. You were speaking to me briefly that someone had made an approach.
Yeah, so I kind of understood the concept of exit. I think I was getting, I really did work hard, given a lot of my life to it. And so someone approached me because they were looking at buying another school photography company and wanted some advice. Then I said, oh, it doesn't work out, give me a call. A couple of months later, he spoke to me again, but he was using an agent.
Right.
And that's not a fun thing to do. I said, we agreed heads of terms, and then the next day I got an 80-page SPA, and it was, and it got more and more conflicting. But you get it. I say if you're in discussions on exiting your business, you kind of get, when you're on holiday, you get the go homes. You're like, you've had a good holiday, I want to go home now. When you start getting an idea about exiting, you start thinking about the money you could have. You start thinking about the free time. You start planning what you're going to do. So this deal wasn't going very well. I didn't think the guy that was looking at buying it was going to keep my legacy going. I didn't want people going, oh, that Carmel Jane photography is rubbish. And I didn't think I'd get my final exit money either.
It's more important than you think, isn't it, that legacy thing?
I get people say, are you the Carmel Jane? You photographed my child.
Yeah.
And I think, not at the, I think it's 300,000 or 400,000 or something we photograph a year. And so, it's really important. And I want that to be good. And also I wanted my staff to be looked after, because that was, I think I had 20-odd full-timers and all the team, or the 40-odd photographers. So
and it's that balance between selling them down the road to a crappy purchaser that might start carving it up, or trying to make big sweeping changes that don't need to happen. I think the most success I've seen is when we've bought companies and we've done very little with them. We'll just let them do their thing. We might have brought some accountancy in together into our main office, or we've just done some technology tweaks to help them get more of a better funnel for the service. But buying. We were having a conversation. James Sinclair and I, we were away, and we were talking about we really bought that company because a snip. We did. But it had a very bad management team in it, so it cost us a lot of time, effort to repair it. We're now looking at buying companies that have got very good management, and that's probably our first thing we're looking at, because it makes our purchase so much easier. Right, the numbers might be bigger for the purchase, but it actually makes our job easier as the owner, because they've already got a great management team in place.
And having just bought an insolvent company, that pain is real.
Yeah, and that's what you've just done. Well, we've come on to that. So what happened with he wasn't going very well with the sale. Carry on that story.
So I rang our great friend Neil Sweeney and said, you've exited, Neil, what's it like? And he said, it's tough, it gets boring. And I went, oh, no, I'll play tennis, I'll be fine, I've worked so hard. He said, my journey was I found it challenging. Obviously, Neil's a great guy, we talked about a lot of things. And he said, if it falls through, and actually we couldn't get the deal over the line. We had a limit date on it, and the guy wasn't coming good. So a few weeks later, I rang Neil and I went, are you serious? And he went, send me the accounts and we'll have a look. Huge privilege to work with Neil. He is incredible. The guy's always positive.
Good human being, isn't he?
Yeah, really,
guy.
Really decent guy. Well, decent guy, very clever business person as well. And he came in very gently. He was really good at not coming in all guns blazing, because that's what I did. And I learned so much off him, and didn't make big changes to start off with. So this was just over a year and a half ago. I was doing 1 day a week. He was doing 4 days a week. And so I spent a year playing tennis and learning off Neil on really, really good management procedure.
And you're not very good at tennis, are you?
I'd be better if I started playing earlier. I'm all right. I hustle away for an old bird.
She is so good. It's embarrassing how good she is. How many dresses have you got?
Only about 20 outfits. I call them my costumes. I dress up like a tennis player.
You dress up like a tennis player and play like a really good one. But you do love your tennis, don't you?
I love it. It's my freedom. I started it. I kind of joke it was my Prozac, because when you're chasing that little green ball, all the stuff inside your head's gone.
Yeah. And it's only you and the ball, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And just the feeling you get when you hit the sweet spot and you hit a win, and I'm really getting really good at constructing points and a lot more consistent now. And the freedom it gives you, and it just is a little rush of dopamine. It's like crack cocaine.
But Exclusive on the pod. Tennis is like crack cocaine. We'll start playing tennis, Ollie, won't we? That'll do us, won't it? But it is, I mean, and
I've not tried crack cocaine.
You were doing like 7 days a week, weren't you, at some stage?
Yeah, I would have done.
Yes,
probably 5. Yeah.
So then what happened? Because you sort of released some of the responsibility to Neil. He doesn't own all of the company, does he? So what, have you stood right out? Have you come right out?
So I haven't even been to the offices now for over 6 months.
Wow. Not even to say hi?
I've spoken to some of the people and stuff.
Okay.
And I also, because I probably should have popped back, and I have had a pretty busy 6 months, James.
So you were playing tennis, you got bored.
Yeah, I was out in New Zealand, got bored. A good friend of ours suggested that Dan Wiley, we'd go into business together with these 2 care homes. He knew all about care. He was going to run them, and I was going to be an investor and a bit of an oversight. Turns out entrepreneurs have a shiny object syndrome.
They do,
and
definitely.
No matter how much energy you've got, no matter how incredible and how good you are at what you do, there is still only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it got tricky with Dan and I, because he's got really, really successful complex needs care homes. I didn't tell that bit, did I? I'll have to go back. No. Sorry. So Dan suggested that we buy 2 residential care homes for traumatised children. I thought, amazing. They were all girls. Also, I thought it'd be mainly women working there, and actually there was quite a few men. So I thought, wow, I can really support people who are incredible and amazing, and doing really good things, and also support, these traumatised children. So it kind of felt quite a good moral business to be in. And it was, be 1 day a week. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
It wasn't like that. So what was the reality of it?
The reality was it was an insolvent business. It had been quite badly managed by 2 very kind people who'd probably been in the business a little bit long. And it needed some really good business practice. It needed some really good HR. And so after a few weeks, we kind of worked out what was going on, and I spent a lot of time up in Suffolk, and we've done the homes are in Suffolk, and an awful lot of work. So I think it's a little bit less than last month, but I was 60 or 70 hours a week on that.
There's something you don't know about that.
Oh, what's that? Secret.
I'm the person that instigated all of that. Dan didn't know anything about them homes at all. They were. The phone call came to me, and I gave it to Dan.
Oh, wow.
Someone that used to work for us here had heard about them, and it was all happening very quickly. It was super quick. You had to get in quick.
10 days?
Yeah, 10 days. And I passed it to Dan, and obviously Dan scrambled around and sort of said, hang on, I can't do this in the monetary. You came in with the finance, and that's really what happened there. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, so as finance Dan was doing. So Dan's an incredible guy, amazing energy, but again, he saw the opportunity. Yeah. I helped facilitate it, but actually there's still only so many hours a day. So there's, and especially when you have a other successful business. And again, it's back to this thing: you're better off buying a good business at a fair price than an insolvent business at a bargain price, because it has cost money to get up and running. But insolvent business. And 6 months, and we're now making profit, and we've got Ofsted goods. We went from requires improvement to good. So it's got a school with it. One of the homes has got a good, and Ofsted's due on the other home, which is looking like that will get a good too. So I've done that in 6 months so Dan stepped aside and I went all in on it. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that stat.
I would bet money that anything that you put your mind to and you go into, that you would see through and make a success of it, just because of your personality and who you are, and what the story that we've told earlier is where you've come from. That's what you do. But why still put yourself through the pain where you could just be playing tennis and doing the high life? I
think actually entrepreneurs maybe more, but as human beings we need a challenge, and actually I think challenge gives you meaning to your life, and I needed more. I get a bit of you get a kick out of the deal, don't you? You get a kick out of making things happen, about bringing people together, about empowering people, because I do love that I can empower team members, and I think I've made a really, really positive influence on their life.
The team building thing, Carmel, is a drug, isn't it? To see how people relate to one another, the camaraderie, the culture of a team, and you can walk away and leave them and know you've got them in moulded but safe hands that they will do, and they'll think like you've instructed them to almost think. But that takes time, doesn't it? It takes months and months of hard work.
I was very lucky. There was some people that aren't still working in the business, but a couple of them were amazing in the senior leadership team. Just really, really incredible people. Shout out Chelsea. Right. Just incredible. And so now we're just empowering them, and they're flying, and we can and kind of being a much more understanding employer, because the world changed since COVID, didn't it? People want a bit more work-life balance. And the people that work in care, James, it's humbling. We work in a cut and thrust of business, and there's these people that...
No, I've experienced it with my mum. My mum passed away earlier this year, and she had some care for about sort of 5 months, and those carers were just unbelievable. I mean, they were just superstars, unbelievable. And it's such a hard job, an intense job, and they do it and they enjoy and love it. That's incredible.
Yeah, and in a way that we can't understand. And I think actually it's amazing that if we can kind of give back and create a good work environment for them, for all these people that just do, they make the world go around and look after people. It's
a hard balance. I mean, even when I've spoken to Dan, to have that commercial, sustainable business and provide the right care for the person you're looking after, but also for the people looking after them. There's a lot going on there. You've got to look after the staff, the client, and make sure that it is a successful business, so it has profits to plough back into what you're doing.
Because people in care probably, they're not focused on money. They wouldn't be doing it if they were. So making them understand that once we're profitable and we're running well, we've got abundance. We can do even more amazing things for these kids. Like these children have had really sad lives, and the kids are all having a holiday. Some have gone to Spain this year. We're really giving them something that I kind of did go, that's quite a lot of money. And Chelsea, director of care, went, "Come, this might be the only holiday you ever have in their life."
Yeah.
And I went, okay, it's not that much, is it?
No.
Wow, what a thing. And these children, we are, hopefully we're gonna help them, nurture them through their teenage years, and they're going to go on and have healthy, happy lives, and that's kind of amazing, isn't it?
And what we were speaking in the pre-chat that your how do we define Carmel Jane? And I was saying we need to look at. We need more women on the podcast. We need more women into the dinner. Is that another? I don't really see it like that. I see I need to surround myself with more successful entrepreneurs, and that's how I see you. And I don't see it as this male and female thing, but others ram it down my throat and say that that's what we should be doing. So we're giving a balanced. But you're either a very good successful person and a great entrepreneur, or you're not.
All the stats stack up that I think only 5% of £1 million turnover businesses are woman-led. Right. There's a lot of barriers to entry to women, just childcare. There's not the role models out there because, I'm in that room tonight at the dinner. There'll be 80 people. Be lucky to be 8 women, won't there?
Yeah,
the mastermind. I didn't join straight away when we did Will's mastermind. So I'll be a girl in the room, and there's all this there was plenty of testosterone in that room, wasn't there? And I'm me. I'm kind of old enough, been around enough to go, I don't care. I need to be in the right room. And so it takes a level of bravery. So I think women need to see what they can be. And we look at it's really happening in sport. But I think most men, I find, especially under the age of 50, I know that might not be you, James, I can't be sure. Sorry, you're only 45, aren't you?
I'd love to be 45. I feel 45, but I'm actually 62.
I feel 21. Actually, there's a change, and I think... people are more open to more women that are coming into the workplace, but there's a lot of barriers to women. Around bravery, around women are take fewer risks, around childcare and around expectations. Yeah, but it's moving in the right direction.
I think it is, and with entrepreneurs conversations here, I want to show up and coming people that are looking to do this crazy world, and it's you've explained earlier in this interview how tough it is. So put your big pants on if you want to join the gang, because it is hard work. But I think they need to see people like yourself that are able to come and still do all of that stuff with a shit marriage, with breast cancer, with being a woman, all of the stuff that's against you, and still come through it. But that is a hard gig, and that's hard because that means that you've had to sort of ignore all of that stuff to just carry on to be a success. Now, you either got the fear of failure in you, or you're just a New Zealand gritty girl that doesn't give up. And somewhere in there, there's you that have come through, despite all of that, and you're in the low minority of people that have been successful enough to sell a multi-million pound business, exit, and then start making another multi-million pound business.
Yeah, I don't like failing. I think playing a lot of sport when I was younger, you learn to be tough. And I'm okay with being different, actually. I'm different to a lot of women. I don't know many women like me. I'm okay to own my space and not to necessarily kind of conform, I think, has really helped. And I'm proud of being different. I like me now. After 51 years, I'm kind of okay with it. And then also, I think your brain changes. I recently did some personality tests, and
did you have one?
Apparently, she's quite nice. But how your brain changes, and the entrepreneurial stuff has got way stronger than it was 10 or 15 years ago, because you train your brain to what you do.
Yeah.
So if you're trained to be brave, if you're trained to be resilient, if you're trained to take risks, and then you get the reward, you go, oh, I was brave and resilient and took risks and good things happened. Your brain learns that. Just like if you go to the gym and you lift weights, your muscles get stronger.
I think if you don't know what you don't know, you're scared of it. And when you've done it, it doesn't feel that bad. So you recognise it the next time you do it. And in the end, it just becomes a familiar thing. That, I always tell the story of me, I was bullied at school and it was crap at school. And I failed every time they asked me to do something because I couldn't read or write anything or do maths or anything. It was a complete failure. So when I started in business, when I failed a couple of times, didn't make any difference at all. I was quite used to that. Failure was my little friend, so it didn't matter. But obviously the scars are in my back, and you build up from that. But crikey, if we'd had a community and we had the internet to go and look stuff up and find out about stuff, or audio books back then, who knows who you could have been, but that's just how it was then.
Most entrepreneurs, they've got their little bit of trauma in the background, haven't they?
Absolutely.
They've kind of got something to prove. I mean, we all shared a lot on our mastermind, didn't we? Everyone's got their stuff going on, haven't they?
Do you recognise yourself as a success now?
I think I do, because I think empirically, I can say that. I exited a multi-million pound business. Yeah. I am financially comfortable and financially free. I have empowered a lot of people, and I'm really proud of what I've achieved.
And you've been doing some work in some of the masterminds with Will, where you're actually helping tables of people structure their world, listening to their problems. It's very good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. And actually, what I can't believe is I think I've only probably been doing the masterminds with Will for maybe 3 years. And what I've learned, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, everyone's starting on their journey. And there's really successful people in the room. And I think, I've got no imposter syndrome. I think, no, I'm good at this. And I've learned, but because I've learned from really good people, and I can, you listen and you kind of coach and you give some advice. And I think, no, I really know this. And I can see, and that's been really exciting to just realise. And this has only been in the last probably 4 or 5 years that I've really worked out. Yeah. And what's been fascinating, because I've done these care homes, because it's a regulated industry, you have to put the right people in the right seats. You have to sit back. I can't get stuck into it because I'm legally not allowed to, actually. Yeah. And it's also meant that I wasn't just a one-trick pony. I did the photography, and now I've done another business, and that's been incredibly empowering and very, very. It just made me kind of life affirming that I'm pretty good at this.
And Carmel, what else is happening? Is there other stuff you're doing? Where are you at?
There might be something else going on. I think I'm just going to, I won't say anything on this podcast.
Okay. All right. Well, no, but there's other ideas that you want to hatch out and other things that you want to achieve.
As well as I do, the opportunities come along if you keep your eyes open and you ask, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's just keep a smile on your dial and things happen. So I know there is a few other opportunities bubbling away, which is quite exciting, but I'm going to go and try and play some tennis tournaments this summer and actually enjoy a little bit of that.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I notice with entrepreneurs, especially in the dinner here, having the space to come in and just relax and be themselves, because I feel entrepreneurs in their bubble, in their space around their team or whatever, they're kind of in a performance mode. And I think here we've created an environment, and we talk about it most weeks, that it's on, most months that it's on, that you want to come here and be able to just say whatever you want to say to get it off your chest, because there's someone else here that will be able to relate to that or help you, or that WhatsApp group is very, very powerful, isn't it?
Oh, you want anything, you put it in, there's someone that knows someone that can, I mean, it's helped me endless times.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that, because in care, language is important, and sometimes I'm a bit sweary and don't say the right things. And in that room, I never walk away and think, oh, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have said that, because I've not missed many, probably in 3 or 4, I don't know how long it's been going, 3 or 4 years, I probably missed about
we're
5
in our 4th
dinners.
year,
Yeah, and just, I absolutely love it, I absolutely love it.
I'm going to come to a subject that we talked about earlier. Explain to me, because I'm thick, what is feminism?
Feminism is the belief that all men and women are equal. Yeah. And it doesn't mean they're the same, they're equal, and they have to be treated equally. And I think there is an awful lot around, I think interesting having come through it, and maybe I could be a successful businesswoman because my ex-husband had the kids. Yeah. So even though he wasn't a great husband when I was with him, because he had to have the kids, and you imagine what women could achieve if 1 week they could go out and achieve whatever they wanted to be, and the husband was at home doing all the mental load. Have the kids had enough broccoli? What time do they go to bed? Have they got clean school clothes on a Sunday night? Yeah. And not many, I know not all men, but...
Because I think all of my managing directors are women, all of them. And they are the best. And they are very conscientious. They are very wanting to prove that they can hold that role sometimes, and to prove to others that they can do it. And I feed off of that, because that makes me very secure that they will get the job done, and they'll stay in their lane to do what they set out they're going to do. And that I find that whole thing very interesting. I mean, my PA, Christina, goes way and beyond what her role is, what she does for me, because they genuinely care and want to make things happen. And I don't sometimes see that in some of my male managers.
But is that socialisation? Because girls are told since they're little, aren't you good, be nice, be polite? Sorry, this is going a bit deep.
Well, no, it could be. It could be that. I really believe what we set out earlier in the pod was to say that, I think you're here on merit. And it's nothing to do with that, and it's despite of that that you're here. And I'm enriched with having you as part of my friendship group, because I learn so much from you. I'm inspired when I see the stuff you're doing and the way you take action. And my motto is talkers and doers, and you're only as good as your actions. And you are all of that, because if you say you're going to do it, I know it's going to next month you're going to tell me that you're doing it, and you get stuff done. And I think a lot of it is, we listen to people sometimes in the room on these masterclasses, the procrastination just kills me, and I get frustrated with that, because you're just people seem to be, Carmel, where they get to a point where they're just in their own bloody way.
When you're starting a business or talking about things, I always say done is better than perfect. And people, I'm starting a business, but I haven't quite got the logo right. I haven't got this. People are like, no, because that's going to change. Yeah,
launch.
Done is better than perfect. Yeah. And should have I got involved in these care homes? Maybe not, but I'm in it. And James Sinclair said, the only way out, Carmel's forward.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
You're here now.
The reverse is totally broken.
One way.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever going to be perfect. If I wait for the perfect deal, it's not going to come along. So, I think fear and an ability to overcome risk and fear is hugely important.
What would you say to your 21-year-old self if you could go back?
Stop drinking. I was an idiot. Fucking idiot, sorry. I was an idiot. Just cut it out, Ollie. I was an idiot.
Really?
Yeah. Small town New Zealand, there was nothing else to do except drink and smoke cigarettes. I was really good at sport, did a lot of sport. Yeah. And kind of back to the breast cancer, stupid to drink if you've had a hormone cancer. And I kind of go, hey, the positive side of that is I stopped drinking, and I would not be here if I hadn't had breast cancer, because I love a drink, party girl. I love nice wine, I love nice food. Oh my God. Went to Spain recently. I had nice wine with all the beautiful fresh food out there. But I was a party girl. I was an idiot.
Right. So that's what you'd say to your 21-year-old self. I think Ollie was talking...
And choose better husbands was probably the other thing I'd say.
Yeah, well, there would be that. Producer Ollie was saying that to come up with these questions, and you were meant to ask that question. Sorry, Ollie. That I think I would say that you need to, as a 21-year-old, you need to find people that have been there before and get close to them.
Yeah.
If I had done more of that, instead of just forging ahead on my own as this blazing bloody ball of fire, if I'd just really gone and looked over the shoulder of more people that were in my little industry, and I just went and tried to do it all myself, you know.
Yeah, I guess actually with the photography business, I wasted years on just working myself to the bone. But I think there's a lot. You're a really successful guy. You've had an amazing life. If you had a few extra years of not making those mistakes and maybe not going to the pub with your mates and things, I do think we've got to let our 20-year-olds kind of find some of their own path, because I know my boys, what are they going to be? What are they going to do?
Yeah, they need to forge their own scars, don't they? In a way that they won't actually learn their lessons until it happens to them directly. Sometimes, I just would like to, I'd like to help people just step through the doors of change of themselves without too much angst and pain, because without being the most morbid podcast out there at the moment, it is painful. It's really painful. I did a pod. I did an Instagram release. I did an Instagram release where I talked about it's really hard being poor, like really hard. And guess what? It's really hard getting your independent wealthy under your belt. Well, pick your hard. What do you want? Because they're both bloody hard. But at least when you get this one done and you're independently wealthy, you can make your own bloody decisions. Because when you're not, poor is hard and you can't make any decisions for yourself. It's dictated by everybody else. And that's always been my driver, Carmel, that I don't tell me what to do. It's the worst thing. I hated school and I hated being told what to do. I've had a meeting today with solicitors and they were telling me off, and I just had to stop the meeting and just say, don't ever dare tell me off. I'm paying all your wages. You can discuss it with me, but don't tell me I shouldn't have spoke to another solicitor on the other side. Well, it's ethically not right.
But I think it is, when I write my gratitude diary, especially when times are a bit tough, now I've got my freedom, and the financial freedom cannot be underestimated.
Did you keep your gratitude stone? Did I give you one?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Where is it?
It's actually just on the side. I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Ladies' dresses don't have enough pockets, sorry.
I do it on every pod now, don't it? It's become a running thing.
I love it.
Is. This one I've had a long time. I've got them at the side of my bed and everywhere, but I keep my pebble in my pocket, and it does keep me grounded to thanks for how much we've got done, how much people help me, doing podcasts with people like yourself, and it is all thanks to just I love having that, because it just gives me some type of place to go to thank the universe for helping me.
Just that stop and thank and be grateful.
Yeah, just a pause out of the day. And our days, like we've squeezed you to get you to come here tonight because we're going to go from here on to the dinner, and you've put it in your diary. But our days are full, aren't they? I mean, geez, I'm up at 5 doing I'm into my Tai Chi now, so I'm doing my Tai Chi in the morning. Then I'm killing off some emails, killing off some text to everybody, and then I have my walk, make some content.
Do you walk with bare feet?
I'm doing the Tai Chi in bare feet on grass.
I walk across the field in bare feet. I've never seen anyone walk in bare feet.
Right.
And they walk through the woods, sometimes in bare feet when it's not muddy, and I look at the trees, but I hug the trees. But I got caught out. So I was like, had my hands on the trees, just like feeling all the energy. And then someone I know from my apartments came walk. I was like, I just stretching. Just like, oh my God. Stretching.
I went to
But it is kind of like we're joking.
Yeah.
But that is amazing.
Listen,
to walk barefoot and to look at the trees and breathe.
My thing over the park, and I'm a tree guy anyway, the energy that I get from doing that, I come out of there.
Do you hug the trees
skipping
too?
away. I don't. I tell you what I was doing the other day on the beach down in Wales. I was holding my hands on the stones. There was massive rocks on the beach. That was empowering. The energy and the warmth that was coming out of them. It's quite a nice day, and it was good. But I really think to have somewhere else to go and clear your mind is very cool. And it's compartmentalisation. Otherwise, everything's just a great big blur of stuff.
And it takes about 22 minutes to do the walk that I do. And so I'm too busy. I think, I am worth 22 minutes for my mental health. Because I'm not walking fast. I'm walking quite slowly, breathing, trying to just free my brain from the, because otherwise we're like this all day long. I'm worth 22 minutes a day. I
went with a good friend of mine, Rick, in Wales, and he's got a big theme park and stuff that he does. And we went to look at another one. He wanted to sort of swoop some ideas out. And we were meeting the owners and stuff as well. And they had a pathway that you went into, and you took all your shoes and socks off, and the kids went in all different stuff. They walked through it.
Oh, I love it.
Gravel, then sand, then there was like mud, then there was twigs and branches, and it was only a short walk, but you walked all the way through. They were queuing up to go in there. The kids were loving it, covered in muddy feet and coming out of it. Then they walked through a little stream that sort of washed your feet off. Then they come up and then they could wash their feet and put their shoes and socks back on.
Why did they put their shoes and socks back on?
Yeah, well...
See, I grew up in New Zealand and we didn't wear shoes and socks.
Yeah. But it was good experience to see them, and they were using that, so that's gone round in a circle. What other questions did we have, Ollie?
So we have 2 questions. The first one is, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
Oh God, what have we been given? What have you been given? Best bit of advice?
You have to set your business up for sale, even if to exit, and you have to be able to sack yourself, because if that's your goal, you're putting all the right people in the right seats. Yeah. So I say my bus theory, because I used to say, if I got rid of the bus, which my team didn't like that much, so just the bus theory. So, what's the bus theory if something happened to me? And so you set up ready for exit, even if you don't want to sell, but you've got to try and sack yourself, and that is putting the right people in the right seats.
Yeah, very good. I think, Ollie, for this, I've been asked this a few times, I've come up with different questions, but I think that the best bit of advice I had, I met a guy and he was buying some property, and I was trying to buy the property next door, and we were trying to do a marriage value, this, that and the other, and I asked him, what he had in the way of housing, and he said, no, I don't own any houses, I just own lots of warehouses. And that was a tipping point for me. And we had a lot of houses at the time. Between me and a partner, we had like about 60 houses. Oh, wow. And it was like hard, bloody work. And the lag between, between it all was just excruciating. So that was a great piece of advice. Another great piece of advice, Ollie, was, always try to see the customer's point of view, get in their shoes. So always look at if I'm buying photography, how does it feel? If I'm buying a wedding, how does it feel? Try and go into their world and then mirror coming back into what we're trying to sell or service or what we're trying to do. So try and get in the other person's shoes, i.e. the customer's shoes. I think that was a great piece of advice. What else, Oliver?
So the other question that we've got is, describe yourself in a word.
What one word?
One word.
Ladies first.
I was going to say chaotic, but I think I should use something slightly more complimentary.
Yeah, do something more complimentary. So describe yourself in one word.
Probably intense or energetic.
Yeah, I would say that is you. You're probably intense.
I'm quite intense. I had to learn to laugh.
Yeah.
So I didn't laugh as a child. I was a weird kid.
You didn't laugh. Say that again.
I didn't have an audible laugh. I didn't really speak to what I was for. A clever kid, but I was really weird.
Wow. Perhaps that's where it comes from. The isms of Carmel Jane. relentless.
That's a good word.
I am relentless. You know, if you give me that thing to do, and you, especially if you say, "I don't think you can do it." Oh,
yeah, right.
Really?
That's a challenge.
Here we go, baby.
Watch
Let's
me
go.
do it. I was told to get rid of these care homes because I knew nothing about care and I wouldn't make it work.
Yeah.
6 months, profitable, 2, and we've got goods.
Yeah.
So I offset goods. So
And that is it, Carmel, isn't it? That is the juice, isn't it?
And I get to say it on a podcast.
And then what happens is that people say that, Ollie. They'll say to me, they say, "Yeah, and I don't think you could. You know, it's probably something that you wouldn't be very good at." And you have to thank them for saying it, because that's very kind of you to say that. Good, because we're juiced now and we're off to the races. We're going to be doing it.
Prove you wrong. Yeah.
Hockey stick learning is a great thing, isn't it? Because when you get there in the curve and the hockey, you look around and you go, this isn't this hard, and this is very similar to what I used to do over there, and it's just human beings again, and I know how to run and work with human beings, and that's it. You know, it's just another arena.
I think because the care homes are Ofsted regulated and strict rules, I kind of can't do too much. And it's been the most incredible learning curve because I have to get the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
And so it's quite exciting. Let's see how this one goes. I think I'm going to grow the care homes, or unless another opportunity comes along, I'll do something, but definitely more care homes.
And then will you come back and let us know what the next adventure is? Because I mean, I have no idea what this is, but you've obviously got there's NDAs or something going on that you can't say anything. But
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I just, again, there's no matter how good you are at things, there's still only so many hours in the day, and I know it's really important that I play tennis and see friends.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. If people want to find you, how do they find you?
Well, the care homes aren't quite live yet because of a whole lot of off-steady stuff, but we're just going through that registration. But I'm Carmel Jane Sawbury on LinkedIn. Okay. And the photography company is almost not mine anymore.
And what is the photography company?
Carmel Jane Photography.
Yeah. But I think Sweeney's going to do a great job.
I love the guy. It's just...
your legacy with your name
yeah.
That's in the title will go on in good hands.
He's helped develop some of my staff as well, especially SLT. Everyone's kept their jobs. He's incredible, and it's just humbling that he came along, and I'm just thrilled that he can carry it on for me.
Yeah. Carmel, thank you very much.
I love talking
It's been
to you,
good,
James.
isn't it? We've had a lovely
chat.
afternoon. Yeah, it's been good. But thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for coming in.
Brilliant.
If you've enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit those buttons and bells, and make sure you do the subscribe and give us a comment. Let us know what you think of the pods and how we're getting on and how we're delivering the message of entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs conversation. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you on the next one.